Hello guys, I'm Surush. Today we talk about visual setting. I open visual setting and now at the style we have some type of moods. For example, white, polystyrol and light view. Light view is for that you can measure how much light in some type of special places. Actually the places beside of the sun have a much lighter than other places. But we don't have any need this. So I click on the none. Another thing we have is a white mode and outlines. When I increase outline, I can see that my model gets much like a cartoon. It's about 27, I increase it to 50. And you can see someone with rapid or marker paint it. But we don't need it. It's very architectural and maybe we don't need it in this scene. I reduce it on 10 or maybe 0 because I don't need it. And the mode is none. When you press none, all of the materials shown on your screen. Enscape camera 5. It's great. Now at the camera projection we have 2 points, orthographic and perspective. We need 2 points and it's okay. Auto exposure is on, but I prefer to change exposure by myself. Now I can, when reduce exposure, actually our scene go darker, and when I increase it my scene go lighter. But it's up to you how you change it. For example, I think 54 is great. And field of view. Actually, field of view can change your zooming camera to the main object. And it's really have a great quality. When I reduce the angle at the horizontal, for example, 65 degree, I increase it to 90 or 100. And I can reset it, adjust at the default mode. Default mode is 90 degree. If it gets upper than 90, you go much further than your model. And it's come down to 90 degree, actually you get closer to your model. But I prefer to be 90. Rendering quality. Rendering quality is depend on your hardware power. For example, I think the high level of rendering quality may be a little higher for my graphic card, and I change it to ultra, maybe my graphic card get crash or take a long time, and we don't need it. For example, medium can be good for tutorial, but beside of that I want you to enjoy that video. I get it on high. Some type of people or editors have RTX. They can turn on RTX mode from this place. Enscape setting, preferences, and actually I don't have it because I don't have RTX, but they have some type of option that called RTX on at the preferences, and they can change it. I came back to the visual setting. In the image, we have lots of things to do. For example, highlights. We can control highlights with this parameter. If I reduce it, you can look to this place. Actually, I came a little back and you can see that when highlight on -100 and when highlight is go higher, we can see the reflection and shining of the sun at this surface with the metal. I reset it because I don't need it. Highlight is about, for example, this number can be good. And about shadows, I came back to my main perspective. When I increase the shadows, actually when you look at these places get darker and darker. So when I reduce the shadow, actually the shadow get lower and the screen get lighter. So I reset it. For example, 40 is good. And saturation. Saturation colorize all of the color and materials on your screen and make it much hot, and the temperature go much hot. So when I increase that, colors change and are normal. Actually, we don't have grass like this, for we don't need it. And I can lower it. If you want to render some type of black and white scenes, you can reduce your saturation. But we don't need it now, so I reset it. Color temperature. Color temperature by Kelvin. So now it's about 6600 Kelvin. When I reduce it, my screen go much yellow or red. But when I increase it, my screen go much bluer or cold. Actually warm and cold. But I prefer to use warm type of lights. Motion blur is about video creating. And if you want to create a video, you must come to video editor. So now we don't need it, but I reduce it on 34. And about lens flare. How we know lens flare can work? I little bit zoom on this place. So I increase lens flare. And you can see that it's much shinier, and some type of flares you can see. For better reasons, you can learn this. I came back to my model and I close the visual setting for a second. I change time of the day and the sun's position. Alright, look at this place. We have some type of flares on the screen. I came back to the visual setting. At the image, I increase lens flare to the 100. Actually, our scene get much artificial. But it's not necessary for this scene, and I can choose it on 56 and change my sun to the normal. And about final thing in the image, chromatic aberration. Actually change the color and the type of it on the surfaces. But we can't feel it so much. So I press it on 16. Vignette. If you want your render and these places, these borders get much darker, you can use vignette. It's like that you put some type of clothes on your camera lens, and the main object you see is much important than other things. And it's about interior renders, and it's really helpful. For this place, for example, 24 is good. And it's enough for this lesson. Next lesson, I talk about atmosphere, sky, and output. Like and comment, don't forget it.